say 50 years ago, so that he couldn't put an apartment above it, and he wouldn't have to go home. Now Lillian's come home and the grandkids, and they all stayed in that one-bedroom apartment all the time in the late 50s, early 60s. But it's really small, but it worked for them. But after the 10th centennial of Disneyland happened, 1965, we're going to jump up 10 years now and take them 40 years back. We're celebrating 40 years of our New Orleans Square area. Isn't that neat? It's really exciting. We opened it in 1966, the summer crowd in July. And right around now, Walt Disney, and 40 years ago, he was trying really hard to try to get New Orleans Square open. And he knew when that happened that he was going to build an apartment above Pirates of the Caribbean, because he had very well outgrown the apartment above the firehouse. Number one, his family had grown by 10 grandchildren. The dignitaries and all the high-profile guests were coming around at that time, and Walt Disney was there to provide. For him to bring up those types of high-profile guests up out of the public eye, as well as Roy and the family, here we are in Walt Disney's second apartment. This is the front door. You came in the living room window. Good job. Very good. We're guests of Walt Disney, let's say, and we were told to meet him at 21 Royal Street. Now we invite you to go downstairs and try to find 21, the front door of this building, and you'll be able to. The street side, the addresses are all down there, pointing you in the right direction. So you'll see 21 Royal Street is at the bottom of some stairs that lead right up to this building. If you keep going down Royal Street, you're going to bump into 33. Have you heard about that? Yeah? It's our private club called Club 33. It is just an address. They wanted to sell alcohol in their establishment and get a liquor license and an address. 33 is connected to 21, believe it or not, and I'll show you how. So here we are in Walt's Royal Suite, and we're going to have dinner. But first of all, we're going to look at some artwork. Our current exhibit is featuring 50 years of concept design, seen through the eyes of 50 different Imagineers and artists. We did that on purpose for you. Many of them have worked right with Walt Disney, and I'm going to introduce you to 3 of them as we walk around. Our exhibits have changed. We've been open almost 19 years now. Our exhibits we've had. I know. Walt Disney was actually here in the design of this beautiful apartment. The wood parquet floor, wood molding, and that chandelier. Those are all original from that time when he was here. This is the first artist right behind you. I'm going to introduce you to John Hench. This is also one of the originals that we have in our exhibit. Most of them are prints, but we have 9 original pieces of art for you to see. John Hench worked with Walt Disney as early as the 1930s. He did a lot of background art, production design for animated films such as Dumbo and Pinocchio. He was also one of the artists that Walt Disney asked to cross over in the mid-50s when Walt needed some help with his design with Disneyland.
Oh, we were on Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'm going to walk over this side of the dining room. You guys can follow me. So our exhibit in here, what land does this look like to you guys? Very good. Fantasyland happens to be Walt Disney's very favorite land, because I think we could all meet the kids. Kids could be kids and adults could be kids and all kinds of things. The characters had a place to live, a place they could call home. This area, Walt Disney wanted to have this room as a dining room. This is a formal dining room, and I should have let you guess, because you probably would have easily. You see this wall here? There used to be a door with a cutout. That is the back kitchen of Club 33, right behind that wall. So, a formal dining room, we would use that in case we would release this. This man right here is another artist we have to introduce you to, and another one of our originals, you can tell. His name is Herbert Ryman, and Herbert Ryman and Walt Disney were friends in the 40s, and he did some work for him then. But when Walt Disney in 1953, it was a weekend, he had so much ideas in his head, and he needed someone to draw them all out and try to convince the bankers, who had no imagination at all, of what he was trying to do. That weekend, he needed to try to figure out how to get $17 million by Monday to start building the park. Herbert Ryman's the man he called. Herbert came down after much talk. They decided to spend the weekend together, came up with the very first concept of Walt's idea. Roy, his brother, took it to the bank on Monday, and the rest is history. So he's the one that did all the original designs and the concepts. You can tell he stayed on. This was done in 1955, this piece, but after he finished the early concepts, Walt invited him to stay on the project. He insisted that if he doesn't want to be bored, as long as I'm not bored, of course he wasn't bored, he stayed on until he passed away in 1989. The last thing he worked on was Indiana Jones. Pretty neat. Okay, follow me. Like having a snack and relaxing. This room in here is a good place to do that. This was going to be the family room, or informal sitting room, they might have called it. We even have a little kitchenette, a bar, and Felicia, I'll let you people there. Felicia can look. You guys want to go in? She'll let you in. Okay, she'll let you in. Yeah,
you said it's okay.
To show you the refrigerator and the sink. It's very exciting.
That's cool.
It's very exciting. No, it really is really exciting.
It works.
Yes, it does.
And right here, under our registers, that's the sink. It's stoppers.
It's all there. The sink's there. It's funny. Yeah. It's pretty neat, I think. So there we are. We're in the family room. We're gonna. Now here we are in the back of Walt Disney's apartment, and in a kind of an old-fashioned term, we don't really have a living room in our homes anymore. A formal living room. Not many of us have those anymore. And this is the formal living room of Walt's apartment, where all the fancy furniture is in. This was a window all the way up until 1987. It was 1987, 21 years after Walt passed away, that we were able to at Disneyland for the first time. Crazy. The timeline of things in the 60s, we'll bump back that timeline a little bit. The summer of 66 is fast approaching. He has to have something open in Disneyland for us to see. Pirates of the Caribbean, we walked through that in the Brooklyn Gym to see how good that was going to be. He decided at that time it wasn't ready. The boats were just being tested. So that's not going to open up for the summer. The club next door is not quite ready, and neither is his apartment, just on the inside. Everything else on the outside downstairs is ready to go. So I'll take you out in a minute and show you where he stood in July of '66, cut a ribbon, let us wander through the stores and the restaurants and listen to the music. It's really nice. Walt Disney passed away in December of that year. He never saw Pirates open. He never used his apartment or Club 33. In 1967, you're good? Oh, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
It was 1967 when we went ahead and opened up Pirates of the Caribbean and Club 33 without him. This apartment was left virtually empty for several years. We did use it privately within the company in the mid-70s through the mid-80s, various things. So we actually furnished it and used the dining room for patio or dinner buffets for insurance companies, stuff like that. So Here's another piece by Herbert Ryman. I had to show you this. This is one of those very early concept paintings for Walt. Beautiful castle. That design was done well before the building was erected. Let me show you a couple more things. That's on the wall, but we can all fit in our quick area. This is the little vestibule. In here, this artist, we're showing you 5 concepts of the interior design of Walt's Royal Suite. We've never really had these up for you to see. This artist's name is Dorothea. Walt Disney hired her in the mid-60s to help with this brand new land, and the tiki room was just being put in. She did a lot of the interior design for this area. And that piece right above you guys, behind you, is the four-bolt. I happened to notice the canopy that Dorothea drew. We never put the canopy in, but we got real close to what was intended. And these vents around the perimeter here, you can see all the way around. Those are there to use as a forced air ceiling. Forced air coming out of there. Nice and comfy in our harsh California climate. We're setting up, Shannon's setting up her tour, and she's wonderful. There's a tour that's called the Walt's Footsteps. Take you through Disneyland, that's where Walt walks. Kind of the critter country out. It's a 3-hour-long tour. We end up here, the last place Walt was with a lovely dinner.
But if they don't show up, I'll give you that.
Oh, I hope they don't show up. This is Walt and Lillian's master bedroom. They would have spent the night here entertaining, spend the night in here. So it's really nice and quiet. That white door leads to the parlor or master bath. It's all still intact. I wish I could show you the sink and the shower. It's all still there. It's really, really nice. This exhibit in here, obviously, looks like. Anybody guess? Yeah. Exactly. Adventureland was really fun for our Imagineers to draw because they could think of the faraway, exotic places they had never been to. As a matter of fact, before Disneyland was built, we had this television show, Disneyland, to intrigue us into what we might see. And Walt Disney used a lot of his models, a lot of his artwork to try to get us interested. And that black and white one of the Jungle Cruise is one of them. We saw it a few years ago. Frontierland is also very close to Walt's heart. He was, his generation was close to the pioneering days and the steam trains, etc. So that's why we have Frontierland and Disneyland. Let's see. Any questions, anybody? I have one more thing to show you. All there? All right. Follow me. Follow me.
I guess you can probably see